Okay, we're going to start Pei Hey Amid Beis. Mamish the top line of the page. I mean, whatever. We're about here. Okay, so the Gemara asks, like the Rav Sheshis was asked the question: can a son be a shliach bezdin to punish a parent? A son now to a parent. So Rav Sheshis was asked, "Mawa can a child be a shliach either to give malchus or to be the one that kills him," and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So the Gemara brought different. So Rav Sheshis answered yes.
But we are before the Mishnah, no?
Yeah, right before the Mishnah, on top of the page. So Rav Sheshis said yes, they could be. Okay, the Gemara was asking questions. What's the difference between acher and all that? So now the Gemara says, "I have Allah." Okay, what's the bottom line? Can he or can't he? So the Gemara says, "Amar Rabbi bar Rav Huna v'chein tana l'vei Rabbi Yishmael." So we learned in the Brayse of Rabbi Yishmael's yeshiva. It says like this: "Lakel eina ben nasa shliach la'aviv la'keiser l'kalali." The bottom line is, a child cannot be an agent, not like Rav Shesha said. A child cannot be the agent not to punish his father, not to curse him, chutz mimesis, unless if a person, the father was one who was convincing people to go worship idols. Right, he was going to worship idols, then a son could be the hit the parent. Why? Because Torah says, you should not have any compassion, don't conceal him, to uproot Avodah Zarah. So then the din is, a child can even hit the parent. But otherwise, even to be a shliach bezdin, even to be a shliach bezdin, he's not allowed to be a shlich to hit his father. That's the bottom line. Not like Rav Sheshes.
He's allowed, or he obligated to do that?
He'll be obligated. No, they have to appoint somebody. If they, so there's an obligation to appoint somebody. If there's other people besides the son, then they can appoint other people. There's no chiv dafka the son. Okay.
Mishnah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking something. One second. Okay. Now the Mishnah says like this: Hamaka of Evimei, if somebody hits his father, and the Torah says Maka of Evimei meis yumas. Right? You hit the father and mother, you get killed. So the Mishnah says Eina chayiv achiyas ben chabura. He has to wound them. It has to be actually a wound. It's not enough just to hit them. In other words, it has to be blood. This is the strictness of cursing over hitting. Why? Mishnah says like this: if somebody, because the din is, you have to make him bleed, so therefore the din is like this: if you curse your father and mother after they die, you're still chayiv misa. But if you hit them after they die, then you're not chayiv misa. Huh?
Can you hit someone after they die?
Take a body and hit it. What do you mean? How cruel? Okay, what?
Well, it helps him sometimes.
But it says, so therefore, like this. Even though the Torah L'Chera says, "Mekalul aviv v'imei yemeis yumas," you curse them, you die. Maka aviv v'imei yemeis yumas. Nevertheless, the Gemara says like this: because the din is, you can only hit the Yechayiv when they make a wound. After that, there's no bleeding, so you can't make a wound. But Mekalul, cursing even after they're dead, if you curse them, Yechayiv mis. Okay. So now the Gemara says, "Ton Rabbanon." The Rabbanon learned like this. How do we know this? Maybe after they die, you're not mechayiv for cursing. How do we know? So it says, "Son Rabbanon aviv v'imei." The pasuk says another pasuk. B'chal says "Makakalul aviv v'imei meis yumas." Then another pasuk says, and the same pasuk it says "Aviv v'imei kilo." He cursed his father and mother. Why is the Torah saying the same thing twice? It says "Mekalul aviv v'imei meis yumas," and then the pasuk says "Aviv v'imei kilo." It says already Mikal Avivime. So what does it teach us? La'achar misa. The fact that it's extra teaches us you get misa even after misa yechayiv. So now the Gemara says sheyochel. I would think that you don't get misa. Why? He says Hoil v'chai b'maka v'chai b'makalo, because the Torah in the same pasha basically says, you hit them, you chayiv misa, you curse them, you chayiv misa. So I would think you liken cursing to hitting. Ma maka ein chayiv el mechayim. I would think, just like by hitting, the Gemara just said, you only chayiv if you cause a wound, so it has to be when they're alive. So I would think cursing is also only chayiv when they're alive.
It includes father-in-law and mother-in-law?
No, not for Misa. You have to respect father-in-law, mother-in-law. Yes. But not, you're not chayiv Misa. But another thing is like this. Makal v'chaymer l'chayder, you can even say it with a kal v'chaymer. Why? What happens by hitting? Meaning like this. Even if your father's a sinner, the Torah says, it doesn't matter. He's like, whether he's a sinner or not, you're not allowed to curse him. Amcha means, like we learned before, the Gemara is like, Sha'isa Maisa Amcha, when they behave the way a Jew is supposed to behave. Right? So I would think, if you hit a parent, it's not religious, you're not chayiv. It says, no. The Torah makes not Amcha like Amcha. I mean, they're just like Amcha, if you're religious, you chayiv Misa, not Amcha. So, yet, l'chayiv be'lachan Misa. In other words, like this. By Mekalul it says Amcha. But by Makeh it doesn't say, by hitting it doesn't say Amcha. So I would think Madach, by hitting is stricter than cursing. Because hitting, whether they're religious or not, you're chayiv. By Mekalul, Shaloi Otze, by Shaloi Ka'amcha Gamcha, where the Torah doesn't connect, only if you curse a religious parent, not the non-religious parent. So for sure, he shouldn't be chayiv misa.
So mekalel if you.
In other words, the Gemara makes it kal v'chaymer. What's stricter? Hitting is stricter than cursing. Why is hitting stricter than cursing? Because hitting, you're chayiv whether they're religious or not. Cursing, you only chayiv if they're religious. But if they're not religious, you're not chayiv for cursing. Right? So what's stricter? Hitting. So the Gemara says, if hitting after Misa is pottered, cursing, which is more lenient, should for sure be pottered. So therefore the pasuk says, it's an extra pasuk. In other words, like this. The Gemara's question, the Gemara says a statement. Why are you chayiv lachem Misa? Because there's another pasuk. Okay? Then the question, why do I need a pasuk? Why wouldn't they know without the pasuk? That even after they died, they're still your parent. You're still cursing them. So Gemara said, because I would learn out that you wouldn't be chayiv. Why? Because we liken it to hitting. And if hitting is pater after Misa, then cursing should also be pater after Misa. And not only that, there's even a kal v'chaymer. Hitting is stricter than cursing. Hitting, you're chayiv whether they're religious or not. Cursing, you're only chayiv if they're religious. So hitting is stricter than cursing, right? So if hitting is only while they're alive, so cursing for sure should only be when they're alive.
But there is a point that...
One sec. Well, let me just finish. One sec. Therefore, Talmud Leimer Aviv Imei Kilel. Therefore, the Torah says you curse the father and mother la'achar misa even after death. What?
There is a point that Mekalel is even more chamur than Makeh.
Why?
Because Mekalel is... Even Makeh is only if you get blood. But Mekalel, it doesn't matter, blood or not.
So what's stricter?
So in a way...
No, Mekalel is not shaykh blood.
Yeah, of course.
Makeh Aviv Imei, the Gemara just defines what the word Makeh means. Makeh means, if I go like this to you, it's I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I got it.
So, but Etzem though, really, hitting is stricter than cursing. So therefore I need a pasuk clearly to tell me that hitting a parent, Yechai Misa, only when they're alive. Cursing a parent even after they died.
Cursing is really more potent than hitting. Hitting is one physical thing.
Cursing is one verbal mouth.
Affecting our own neshama, the other person's neshama, affecting...
No, why? Affects the goof is more.
Words leave a very...
Words are not... Sticks and stones can break my bones, remember, but words can never hurt me. Now they say it's not true. Words can hurt you more than...
Right.
Words can hurt you more than hitting.
They get you sued.
Yeah. Okay, so the Gemara says there's an extra pasuk, right? There's an extra pasuk that teaches us mekalel even achamisa. But the Gemara is going to ask now, according to Rabbi Yochanan, that pasuk is not extra. So how do we learn out mekalel achamisa? It says like this: Hey, nichel Rabbi Yochanan, that's only good according to Rabbi Yochanan, who said the miyat lekra aviv imei, that the pasuk is extra. So therefore, what does the pasuk teach us? That even achamisa yechayev. But ela Rabbi Yeshia, and the Gemara is going to say exactly what the machlekes Rabbi Yeshia and Rabbi Yonasan is. But according to Rabbi Yeshia, who learns that pasuk is not extra, ma'ika lemeimer, how are you going to learn mekalel after misa is chayev? We learn it out mekalel after misa is chayev from an extra pasuk, right? So it's extra pasuk teaches us something lachamisa, because logically it doesn't make sense. Like the Gemara says, even a kavachaymer, that it shouldn't be. But the Pearl, Rabbi Yeshia holds that the pasuk is not extra. So how is he gonna know mekalel after misa is chayev?
But both of them saying that mekalel after misa is chayev.
Yeah, but the Gemara is asking, according to Rabbi Yeshia, how does he learn it out?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't hold it. We don't know.
Oh.
But the Gemara said, what's the argument between Rabbi Yeshia and Rabbi Yonasan if the pasuk aviv imei kilel is extra or not? The Tanya, it says like this: Ish ish. In Chumash B'chlau, it's brought down many places like this. Ish ish. Okay? What does it teach us? Basically, ish ish ki yikalu aviv, there's a few places it says this. Now, why does it say double expression ish ish? Sometimes, Chumash says ish ish.
Yeah.
What ish? What is ish ish? So it says the Rabbi's bas tumtum vandregenis, that include a daughter, okay, even a tumtum and a dregenis, is chayiv even if they curse their parents. So ish teaches us any person. Ish, a daughter who's a tumtum or an adregenis, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, not only that. It says ish. Ish is a man. How do I know if a daughter curses her parents, she's chayiv?
Say ish.
Hishi.
So the extra ish includes a daughter, a tumtum and a dragonis, which are questionable if they're male or female, right? Okay. So
Daughter is female.
huh?
Daughter is female.
Right, or tumtum and a dragonis. So the extra word ish teaches us not only masculine, but even feminine.
Ish.
Sometimes the Chumash says isha is a isha, a sheyasara, right? Okay. Now, if ish, what does normally ish mean? Man. How do we know if a daughter curses her parents, she's also chayiv misa? From the extra ish. But not only does it include a daughter, it includes tumtum madregas, because they're either male or female. So everybody's included in the second ish. So it sounds like this. But the Torah says, Mekal aviv v'imay, asher yikal es aviv ve'es imay. Right? So now I would think, maybe if you only curse both of them. It doesn't say aviv oy imay. It says kalol es aviv ve'es imay. If somebody will curse his mother and father. Right? So I would think you only chayiv misa if you curse them both together. How do I know if you curse only the father, only the mother, you're also chayiv? Meaning, or aviv shaloi imay, imay shaloi aviv minayin. How do I know if I only curse his father, the father without the mother without the father? How do I know they're also chayiv? Right? So Gemara says, Talmud Leimar, aviv v'imay kilel. Okay? And therefore, it says, again, aviv kilei imay kilel, to teach us that it's separate, that even if you curse each one separately. Okay? Minute. So according to Divrei Rabbi Yeshia, what does aviv kilel imay kilel mean? Each one separately. Where do we learn out from? From the pasuk aviv kilel imay kilel. Right? But the Gemara just used this pasuk to teach us even after Misa. The Gemara used the pasuk just now. Aviv v'imei kilel is an extra pasuk to teach us that even when they die, you're also chayiv for cursing. But the Gemara says, according to Rabbi Yeshia, the pasuk is not extra. Because he learns from that pasuk, he learns in that pasuk, either one, if you curse them, you're chayiv. Right? Because I would think only both of them together, if you curse them both together, you're chayiv. How do I know if they're each one separately? From the pasuk of Mekila. That means that pasuk used already. Yeah. So it's not extra. If it's not extra, how does he know? Kamekala left to me. But the Gemara does say, Rabbi Yonasan says, no, this whole thing is Baba Maisa, what the Rabbi Yeshia says. He says, Mashma Shneim Kechod, or Mashma Echad B'fnei Atzmi. Okay? He says like this. It's not true. He says that when the Torah says Aviv V'imei, by definition it means either one. Why? Because when the Torah wants you to do it together, the Torah says the word Yachtov. About plowing animals together. Tamo Pishtim Yachtov. He says like this. Whenever the Torah says something, it could mean both of them. It could mean Echad B'fnei Atzmi. It also means each one individually. Until the Torah says Yachtov. Okay? So now, according to Rabbi Yonasan, the pasuk's extra. Because I don't need Aviv V'imei Kilo to teach me if you curse each one separately, you chayiv, because that's what the pasuk itself means. Mekalol Aviv V'imei means father or mother. It doesn't mean both, because the Torah doesn't say Yachtov. So according to Rabbi Yeshia, the pasuk is not extra. So according to Rabbi, what's the name? Rabbi Yonasan, the pasuk is extra. So the Gemara asks, okay, according to Rabbi Yonasan, the pasuk is extra, so it teaches us Aviv V'imei Kilo that if you curse them after Misa, you chayiv. But according to Rabbi Yeshia, the pasuk is not extra. I need it to teach me each one individually. Right? How do I know La'acha Misa you're chayiv? So we know like the Gemara says, how do we know? So it says like this. It says Mekalol Aviv V'imei Meis Yumas. Okay? Which means like this. The pasuk says in Shmeis, in Mishpatim, one who curses his father or his mother. Mekalol Aviv V'imei means either one, because again it's another pasuk.
That's what was said in the beginning.
Huh?
That's what was said in the beginning.
Enochanami. But that's, no, the question is, because the Torah says,
the question is if the second pasuk is extra or not.
Right, so he learns it out from another pasuk, a third pasuk. Mekal Avivim Meis Yumas. To teach us, even if they're dead, you're chayiv. According to, what's his name, Rabbi Yeshia, right, the pasuk's not extra, so how does he know if you curse a parent after they die, you're chayiv? He said, because it's another pasuk. Umekal Avivim Meis Yumas. There's a third pasuk which is extra. So that teaches me La'acha Misa. So now the question is, V'idach. So according to Rabbi Yonasan, that learns out you kill a parent, a dead parent. I mean, if you curse a dead parent, you're chayiv from Aviv V'imei Kilel. What does he do with this pasuk? So according to him, this pasuk is extra. Right? Because Rabbi Yonasan learns out you can't curse a dead parent from Aviv V'imei Kilel. Okay? Rabbi Yeshia says you learn it out from this pasuk, Mekalul Aviv V'imei, which is extra. So now the question, what does he do with the extra pasuk? So he says, Ahul Rabbis Bas Tumtum Adregenis. This teaches us that even a daughter or a Tumtum Adregenis is also chayiv. He said, but we just learned it out from Ish, from the extra Ish. So he says, Dibra Tereh Koloshim B'nei Adam. It's a very simple. It's another interesting argument. Sometimes there's an extra word in Chumash. So the question is an extra word really extra? Or that's the way people speak? There's an expression, Dibra Tereh Koloshim B'nei Adam. Torah speaks in the way people speak. Many people say Ish. So the question is that ish extra or not? So the first brayso we learned says ish is an extra ish to teach us a daughter, tumtem and regenis, right? They're also a chavit to kill the parent. So according to him, he learns out tumtem or daughter from mekalul aviv v'imei. So now ish is extra. So he said ish is not extra. That's the way Torah speaks. It's not an extra. Rashi says this many times also in Chumash. It's not, the Torah speaks like that. It's not considered extra.
But it says aviv ve'imo. It's
No.
masculine. How did the bats get into this? Because it said aviha ve'ima.
That would mean only the girl.
Right.
No.
So but this.
That's why the Torah says either ish or, according to the other opinion, mekalul again the pasuk mekalul aviv v'imei meisimas.
Besides, every time you want to say in Hebrew or Lashon HaKodesh, men and women, you use the masculine. So it means that it's everybody.
Where did this come from?
No, it's true. Anytime Chumash speaks plural, men and women,
It's the Zachar.
Yeah.
even, okay, if you have a person writes B'neihem,
Yeah, plural, yes.
that's
But
what,
this is
no
not
what,
singular.
but B'neihem is plural, male or female.
Both.
Why? B'neihem is singular, no, masculine. If it's only plural girls, if the guy only has daughters, you don't have B'neihem, but B'neisam.
Yeah, but that over there is plural. It over here is singular.
What singular? That's why it's an extra ish.
You cannot have singular when it's a
Or
woman.
the fact that the pasuk says "Mekalu avivimai extra." What's the Torah teaching us extra? That even even each one individually, it's an extra pasuk.
Yes.
Why does the Torah say an extra pasuk? To teach me male or female. That even a girl curses her parents, she's chayiv.
So the same way that the plural includes bat, singular includes bat too.
No. How
No.
can you be including when it's only one?
That's why it says ish.
Right. I'm not talking about this case.
But if you say ish is different to kloshim and the other, it's not extra because that's the way Torah speaks. Right? So how does he learn out a daughter curses the father's chayiv? Because there's an extra pasuk mekal aviv v'imei. The other opinion learns mekal aviv v'imei to teach milach and misa. Because he can't use the pasuk imei vaviv kilel aviv v'imei kilel because he uses it to teach me like he said before tumtum vadrengenis and everybody together. And separately he teaches us that even if you curse one of them, not two of them, you're chayiv. Right? The bottom line is, the Gemara is not arguing in the fact. The bottom line is, you curse a parent after they die, you chayiv misa. Everybody agrees a daughter curses or a tumtan adegenos curses their parent, they're chayiv. Right? The only question is, where do we learn it out from? Or also, how do you know individually? There's three issues over here. Number one, achamisa. Number one, how do you know if you curse either parent, you chayiv misa? Maybe you have to curse only both of them. Yeah? And the third thing, how do you know a daughter? And tumtan adegenos, right? Everybody agrees that all those cases are chayiv misa for cursing a parent, whether it's after death, whether it's individually, and even a daughter. The only argument is where you learn it out from. Because Rabbi Yeshua needs the pasuk imei va'aviv kilel to teach me separately.
Mm-hmm.
Rabbi Yonason says, no, I don't need a pasuk for that. Separate is understood. The Torah doesn't say yachtov. The Torah says mekal avivim. It doesn't say yachtov. If the Torah meant both together, the Torah would say yachtov. Okay? But the pearl, according to Rabbi Yonason, is an extra ishimei va'aviv.
So you can use that.
So he says he learns out from there that he teaches us,
The third pasuk.
huh?
The third pasuk.
That even a dead parent. What does he do? He says he learned it out. So everybody's learning the same thing. The only question is where you're learning it out from.
So you could say that the second ish is for a harmita, because you can actually say that the same way that you say yachtav when it's not, if you want it only when it's together, you would say achav. If it's only men, you would say, and you don't need to use ish to learn men.
Yeah, but if dibur ter kloshim and ayodam, it doesn't do that.
Why? Even if you say one ish, you could understand that it's also a woman.
No,
Why?
because ish means a man.
Yeah, but when you say when you say anashim, like for example.
Yeah, but again, it's plural. But like he said, this is singular. Plural is the chorim and the kavis. Right?
But even if you have a group of people, men and women, you say bring one of them, you're going to speak it in even
Lashon zachar.
Lashon zachar, even
Male.
if you bring a woman.
Yeah, so.
So it could be.
But here, when it's individually and you say male, it means male, not female. But here there's ish. There's an extra ish. So one opinion says that ish teaches us even women. And the other one says, no, it's not the pasuk. Ish is normal the way the Torah learns. How do I know if a woman curses, she's also chayiv? So when I said, Mekal Avivime, another an extra pasuk. That guy learns something else in the pasuk Mekal Avivime. In other words, they're just playing with the pasuk.
We can only learn one thing from a pasuk.
You can only learn one thing from an extra pasuk, unless if the extra pasuk could have said it one way and it says it a different way.
So then you might learn.
So then you can learn two things from an extra pasuk.
And the third
It's
one-
very logical. If the Torah uses an extra pasuk, why is it, every word's Torah is a b'diuk, right? Exactly. Why is the Torah using an extra word or an extra phrase? Obviously, to teach us something. But how do you know the Torah is teaching us two things? Maybe it's only teaching us one. It's extra. Okay, so we're learning something from it. But if the Torah in the extra pasuk could have said one way, and it says, the Gemara is going to say this soon, a different way, then the Torah is teaching us two things. Number one, from the extra pasuk, and from the way the Torah uses the wording in the pasuk is different. So it's teaching us two
So
things.
if ish is a way of talking, so it's not an extra thing to learn from.
That's what Rabbi Yonason holds.
You couldn't have said ish isha,
How?
ish isha.
If you say ish veisha, then it doesn't mean andrigonos and tumtum.
Why? It's either Ish or Isha.
But then it's not andrigonos. Tumtum is not either.
No, lav dafka. Okay.
This is a typical, what we reading in the morning, there are two things that are against each other. A third pasuk comes and this is
Yeah.
this
But
is
that's
the
not the
example
case.
of that.
Not here. No,
Where
why?
the third pasuk came.
No, it's an extra pasuk, not a third pasuk that teaches us. It's an extra pasuk. An extra pasuk teaches us something extra. But from our Gemara, Lepel comes out an interesting thing that the Gemara is going to ask. What's worse? Cursing is worse than hitting. Cursing is after Misa Yechayev and hitting not. Correct? Yes? So now the Gemara says, Listen, well, Chayra, let the Mishnah also teach us that there's there's a strictness of hitting over cursing. What does the Mishnah say? Hitting after Misa you're potter, right? And cursing after Misa you're chayiv. Okay, so the whole Megillah over here that we learned was how to learn it out. But the bottom line is, hitting after Misa you're potter, cursing after Misa you're chayiv. Which means, which one's stricter? Cursing. Right? Cursing after Misa is chayiv in it? Okay. So Gemara says, the same kavachem as before. Let's l'chayre, hitting is stricter than cursing. Why? Because like hitting, we just said this before. Even if the guy's not religious or religious, it doesn't matter, you're still chayiv. Mash'en came b'makalo. Okay, so he says like this. Our Tana holds makshinin hakol l'makalo. Okay? He says like this. Our Tana Taka holds that if you curse, there's no difference between cursing and hitting, and lepel, he would be pottered if he curses a person who's not religious.
What if they were terrible parents?
No, I'm saying, I'm sorry. He holds even hitting a sinful parent, you're not chayiv.
Who's that then? Who holds it?
Tana. The Tana.
Our Tana.
So our Tana is Yoshia or Yonatan?
No, none of them.
When it says Be'amcha, does that mean like a Jew or not? Or is it,
It means regular Jew, not a scholar.
oh, so it says Be'amcha.
Kind of.
Amcha Be'amcha.
Yeah, כשאתה רוצה להגיד מישהו, somebody that is like not learned that say Amcha.
Okay. So now the Gemara says, so our Tana argues against the Tana of the Braisa. The Braisa said hitting
Is worse.
hitting is only if he's
Blood.
no, hitting is only if he's a good
Not religious.
religious, and cursing even if he's not religious. But the Tana of our Mishnah doesn't agree with that because the would be a Kal V'chomer, right? So therefore he doesn't hold of that. What does he hold? There's no difference between hitting. Just like if you curse a sinful parent, you're potter. If you hit a sinful parent, you're also potter. That's what our Mishnah holds. The Braisa holds no. If you hit a curse, if you curse a sinful parent, you're chayiv. If you hit a sinful parent, you're not chayiv. So it's a machlekes between the Mishnah and the Braisa. That's what the Gemara is coming to the conclusion now.
After that?
No, not after that. If they're sinful or not. So our Mishnah holds there's no difference between there's no difference between cursing and hitting. You chayiv whether only if they're religious. The Braisa says clearly you only chayiv for cursing a non-religious parent, not for hitting them. I'm sorry, the opposite. You chayiv for hitting a non-religious parent, but not for cursing.
Who is religious?
Nobody.
Rabbi, is that only if you make a bruise?
Yeah.
No
But there
bakara.
must be blood.
Has to be blood.
There has to be blood. That's what we learned just now. There has to be blood.
And bruise is blood.
The bruise is blood.
When the surface is black, that means blood came underneath the skin.
So it doesn't mean that the blood must come out of the skin. Yes or no?
That's what Rabbi said last week.
But yeah, if you bruise them, it could be even if no, I don't know. I have to double check. Even if it could be if a black and blue. Well, where's the black and blue mark come from?
From the blood.
It's blood underneath the skin, it's just not coming out. That's a chabura. I have to double check to make sure. But what?
Can a son surgeon can do surgery on his father?
We learned that before. Only if the father wants.
And if there is nobody better.
Or there's nobody better, or the father wants, or things like that. Okay, it's because the Braisa, the right Braisa, the Gemara brought down before, says clearly, by Makkah, whether he's religious or not, Yechayev. By Mekalel, only if he's religious, right? But our Tana, the Gemara says, doesn't agree with that. Our Tana says, if they're not religious, you're potter on hitting and cursing, right? Okay.
So our Tana is none of the Yoshia and Yonatan.
No, it's whoever our Tana is, but everybody can hold like him. Okay.
But
Lame.
one small question.
What?
So we say that one learning from the extra pasuk that is after mitah, but how the other one learn from the extra pasuk? You say he doesn't need to learn it?
What, Lachem Isa?
Yes.
No, it's either from the pasuk Mekalel Avav V'imei, which is extra, or Imei V'avav Kilel. One of those two are extra for one of them.
So for one. Okay.
Right. Okay, so now the Gemara says like this. So if that's the case, Lema Tanoi, Kanika Tanoi, L'cheira, this case could be like a different machlekes. What's the different machlekes? The Tanicha, the one Braisa says like this. Kusim, okay, who are the Kusim? They're a pagan group transplanted by a Syrian emperor from the native Kutit Eretz Yisrael to replace the exiled 10 tribes. Remember when the 10 tribes left Israel? So Melech Ashur took a whole nation of Kusim and replanted them in Eretz Yisrael. Okay? Motivated by an outbreak of lion attacks, which because they didn't serve Hashem, they converted to Judaism. Even, the Kusim converted. Even after their conversion, they still considered to worship idols. Now, therefore, the question was their conversion real or not? Are they Geri Emes or Geri Aroyas with an Aleph? Meaning, did they convert because they were scared of a lion's attack, but they didn't mean it? Or were they real Gedim? Okay, so now it says like this. Kusi, okay, Ata Mitzuva ala Kaisei. Okay, you're not allowed to hit a Kusi, but you have to Mitzava al Kilosif, and you're not commanded to curse. In other words, you can curse a Kusi, but you can't hit him. That's one Braisa says. V'tani idach, iyata Mitzuva, lay al Kilosif, v'lay al Kolosif.
Well, is this if this Kusi is a parent?
No, B'chal.
Topic change?
You're not, yeah. Well, no, we're just saying that one, okay, the Gemara just said, our Tana likens hitting to cursing. Yeah, about a parent, but they liken hitting to cursing. The Tana of the Braisa does not liken hitting to cursing. Right? It happens to talk about parents. But our Mishnah likens hitting and cursing, and the Braisa does not liken hitting and cursing. Yes? So the Gemara said we have a similar argument between two Braisas, not about parents, about cursing or hitting a kusi. Do we liken hitting and cursing together? One Braisa says if you hit him, you're chayiv. If you curse him, you're potter. Another Braisa says you hit or curse, you're potter. Okay? And the Gemara, what's the argument? So the Gemara thought like this. Kula alma kusim geri emes. Both Braisas hold they're real Gedim. So they're real Jews. Yeah? They're real Jews. Because the din is like this. There's no question they worshipped idols. The Kusim. No, they worshipped idols. But now the question is, was the Gatus good? And then they have a din of idol-worshipping Jews? Or if the Gatus was never acceptable, even today, a person converts according to halacha. Mamish convert according to halacha, yeah? Meaning they're from for a while. And all of a sudden they say, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm going back to Buddhism, the Christianity, all that stuff. So al pi din, they're a Jew. They're worshipping idols. So you kill them. Correct? If the Gatus was never a real Gatus, then it's not. So now there's two arguments going on over here. One is, are they real Gadim or not? I understand, but have they have a din of a Jew or din of a guy? With worship, there's a different punishment. Different
type of...
Yeah, everything's different. Right? Do they have a din of a Jew or a guy? So number one, there's one argument, are they real Gadim or not? Another argument, Gemara says really like this. Everybody holds their real Gadim. Why does one Braisa say you can curse them and hit them, and another Braisa says you can hit them, but you cannot hit them, but you can curse them? So there's the argument between our Mishnah and the Braisa. One likens hitting to cursing, and one doesn't liken hitting to cursing. Right? My love, Ba'okamifligi. Marsavar, one opinion says, Makshin and Hakala Klola, we liken hitting to cursing. And therefore, just like you're allowed to curse them, you're allowed to hit them. Well, Marsavar, and the other opinion says, Loi Makshin and Hakala Klola. You don't like one to the next. So I says, no. Everybody says you don't like hitting to cursing. What's the machlekes? Are they really Gadim or not? What's the machlekes? Ma'okam mifligi, ma'asav kusim geri emesein, and therefore, if they're full-fledged Jews, you're not allowed to hit them. Okay? You can't hit them. And the other one, geri emesein, they're not real converts, and therefore you are allowed to hit them. Yachi, Hainu Diktonia, but the Gemara asks if that's the case, it says, Shere ki Yisrael. His axe is treated like a Jewish axe. What does this mean? It means like this. A Jew, if a Jew's axe kills somebody, damages somebody. So there's the first 3 times he's called a tam, half damages. And then after the third, they're called more, they pay full damages. Okay, number 1. Number 2, in Goyish law, if my ox kills your ox, I don't have to pay. Because no, and then Goyish law, I don't know. Now I don't know. I didn't do it. My ox. Am I responsible for my ox? So the din is like this. Interesting the way the Jews do things. If a Jew kills a guy's ox, they don't have to pay any damages. Why? Because in Goyish law, you don't have to pay. Right? Number 2, there's also a difference between tam and moed. Okay, so now, the Braisa says the ox of a kusi has the same din like the ox of a Jew. So obviously, which means
that the Jewish.
No, because if he has a din of an idol worshiper, like you want to say one din is that he has a din like an idol worshiper, and therefore if you hit him or curse him, he's not a Jew, because it was not a real conversion, so why should his ox have a din like a Jewish ox? So obviously you can't say that they're not real gadim, because the Braisa clearly says the ox is like a Jewish ox, which means they are Jewish. So what's the argument? Shmamino behekesha pligi. They're arguing whether you like in hitting to cursing or not. And where says Shmamino to good proof? Meaning like this. There's a Mishnah Braisa. One says we like in hitting to cursing. One says we don't like it hitting to cursing. By cursing parents. So where says this is the same argument as another Braisa. One Braisa says by the kusim you're allowed to hit them and curse them. And another Braisa says you're allowed to hit them and not curse. You're allowed to curse them and not hit them. So the Gemara thought, what's the difference? What's the difference? If the difference is if everybody holds a real gatum, and the argument is, are they Jewish or not? No, I'm sorry, the real game, they're Jewish. The question is, do we like in hitting to cursing or not? So I said there can't be, because why should their ox have a din of a Jewish ox? Therefore, we must say everybody holds a real gatum. The argument is, do we like in hitting to cursing or not?